Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that, and also apologies if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it can't be helped, and hopefully it's not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and another sort of reaction video as well, albeit not to any snippets of songs this time, but rather a lineup of performers, because earlier today being the 1st of December during this recording, the lineup for the Big Artists section of the Sanremo Music Festival 2025 were announced, and I'm about to take a look at that list for the very first time and give you my thoughts on the names involved. As always, you are very welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages, check them out if you so wish. Just before I get into the main point of this video, I do want to say a big thank you to anybody who saw my most recent video, which I have now put on private, where I spoke about potentially upgrading my setup. I have taken those comments on board, I have been speaking with a friend of mine about it, and hopefully before the year is over there will be an improvement in quality on this channel. No guarantees, but I am very much hoping that it will be before 2024 comes to an end. Do keep an eye on the community page on my YouTube channel for any further updates, and once again thank you if you saw that video. Now let's focus on Italy. Of course, automatic qualifiers for Eurovision every year. They've won 3 times, most recently with Zitti e Buoni by Måneskin in Rotterdam in 2021. The Sanremo Music Festival is older than Eurovision, it inspired Eurovision, it is a prestigious and well-followed event which takes place over the course of several evenings every February. It is a very big deal. Somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 million Italians watch every night of the festival. Established names, highly successful names, as well as relative newcomers, lots of guest performers and guest appearances by other Italian folk as well. It is a big deal. It is not strictly speaking a national final, but the winner of the festival almost always accepts the offer of being the Italian representative at the upcoming edition of the Eurovision Song Contest. The last time this didn't happen was almost a decade ago. So I have some information in front of me to make sure I don't forget anything too important. I was looking through this morning and I was getting very confused about the whole newcomers section. Long story short, I'll go through this as briefly as I can. There is the Sanremo Giovani part of the festival, which is taking place right now. I'm not following it, I've not heard any of the songs, I'll be honest with you, but it's for contestants aged 16 to 26. There's been a few weekly challenges, and there's another one coming up very shortly. There's a semi-final on December the 10th, and then there's a final on December the 18th, where the 6 finalists will compete for 3 spots in the newcomers section of the festival, while another 2 from Area Sanremo, which is another thing entirely, will compete for an additional place. The results will be determined by a 50-50 combination of televoting and votes from a musical committee. The list of all of these artists is on screen, what I'm looking at right now, and I assume almost all of these songs, if not all of these songs, are out already. I've just not really heard any of them at all. Now, I'm also on Eurovoix.com, and there's an overview of how the festival is going to pan out. Again, I will try to be brief here, but on Tuesday the 11th of February, night 1 of the festival, the 30 competing artists will present their song. All of these tunes will be voted only by a jury composed by professional journalists from television and web outlets. The top 5 songs will then be announced, but in a random order. I think this is different from previous editions of the festival, but the rules are slightly tweaked every year anyway. On the Wednesday, the first half of the competing artists will perform their entries again. This time the songs will be voted for by the public and a jury made up of radio broadcasters. Again, the top 5 songs that night will be revealed in a random order, and then on Thursday the 13th of February it will be exactly the same, but with the second half of the artists. On night 4, the Friday, it is covers evening, which I don't really follow that closely, it must be said, although we have had some stellar performances over the years. The songs will be voted by the public from home, 34% of the result, by the Professional Jury of Journalists, 33%, and by the Professional Jury of Radio Broadcasters, another 33%. The artist that has received the largest number of votes will be announced as the winner of the fourth night, but these votes will not influence the ranking of the other nights, which is a slight change from how it's been in the past. And then on night 5, the Saturday, although we won't know the winner until the early hours of the Sunday morning, all of the artists will perform again. These will be voted by the public from home only. The average between the new ranking and the previous one will determine the final definitive ranking. So you can't have an off evening. You need to be in top gear every single night pretty much. The top 5 songs will have the chance to perform again, and this time they will be voted by the public from home, the Professional Jury of Journalists, and the Professional Jury of Radio Broadcasters, and the song that receives the most votes will then be announced as the winner. In addition to this, on night 2 and night 3, 4 young artists, and I assume these are the individuals coming through the Giovanni section and what have you, will present their songs to the public. 1 artist per night will advance to the final on night 4, where a jury composed of a televote, journalists and radio broadcasters will determine the winner of the Nuove Proposte category. So there you go. I was getting very confused with all of that earlier because it's all over the damn place. Anyway, bear with me because we are now about to take a look at the actual real deal, the big artists section. There will be names that I am not familiar with here, and there might even be artists here who are not terribly familiar to an Italian audience. But there will also be some big names involved, of that I am sure. I've seen a few rumoured names. What will happen is once I've gone through this, I will take a bit of time off camera to do a little bit of research. It won't take too long. And I will put together an Instagram post, link in the description as always to that, and that will be regarding artists to watch. And it will be a list of musicians that I'm particularly excited for moving forwards. I don't think for 1 minute Annalisa will be in this list. For those of you who don't know, she's arguably my favourite Italian musician. How she's not won Sanremo yet is blasphemous to me. I'd love to see her at Eurovision, but she was in it earlier this year, so I don't think she's going to be back so soon. But who knows? Here we go then. You know the songs, when they do come out, are going to be top quality. 30's a lot though. As if the show is not long enough. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, let's crack on. I'm going to scroll down very slowly. Let's get past that. I don't know if we've got the song titles yet. I have a feeling we don't for some reason, but they'll be announced soon. Here we go then. 4 acts as determined through the Sanremo Giovanni format will compete in the newcomers section. Lovely. Okay, there is a very interesting point which I will just mention, which is Carlo Conti is the new artistic director, and he essentially is the one determining the lineup. So how he can be completely unbiased during the festival, I don't know. But it says here the Consumers Association Codicons issued a statement requesting that Conti establish a professional committee to select the competing entries to ensure that they meet musical standards and that their selection is not based on the artist's number of social media followers, web views or temporary fame deriving from their participation in singing talent shows, as well as the inclusion of a Codicons representative in each phase of the preparations in order to guarantee public transparency. However, this was not granted, and shortly before the announcement of the competing artists today, Codicons filed a complaint with the broadcaster RAI over some of the rumoured participants, requesting that any songs featuring wrong, miseducative or dangerous messages be banned from the festival. My goodness. A little bit of controversy already happening behind the scenes. So, let's now take a look, shall we? And if I don't know a particular artist, I've got Google loaded up as well, and I might just have a brief look to see what they're about. So here we go. Okay, first up is Achille Lauro. We know all about him. He's been in Sanremo before. He's a very striking performer. He's got a bit of a glam rock thing going on, very old school, very gritty, almost dirty, bluesy rock thing going on, I would say. But he has been at Eurovision. He represented San Marino in 2022 in Turin with Stripper, which was a song that was written by about 500 people for no apparent reason. He's back. And who knows, he might be a very serious contender. No details about the songs yet. Next up is Bresh. Bresh, whose real name is Andrea Brassi, is a rapper. He is part of a collective made up of notable Ligurian rappers, and he's also part of a Milan collective known as Zona 4 Gang. Has he been in Sanremo before? His name sounds a little bit familiar. He's 28. He's released 2 albums, one of which went to #1 in Italy. He's had platinum singles galore. He's collaborated with a whole bunch of musicians as well. Songs include Andrea, Altamente Mia, Nightmares, that went to #1 last year in Italy. So he seems like he's got quite the following. And what I will say about Sanremo is that it's usually a mixture of somewhat contemporary pop-type songs, old-fashioned tunes, and rap. Occasionally there's a bit of rock, occasionally there's something that's a little bit jazzy maybe, but usually you do know what you're going to get. Anyway, Bresh is in the lineup. Then we have Brunori Sass. Can't say I'm too familiar with who they are. Let's just wait for that page to load up. Brunori Sass. And then we also have Chiara, or Clara, my apologies, it looked like an I on this page, and I'll talk about her in just a moment. But Brunori Sass was born in the late 70s. He has released 5 albums, the last of which went to #1 in Italy. Okay. He was raised in Calabria. Don't know too much about him at all. Don't think he's been in Sanremo before. But he was part of a duet in 2019 in the festival, apparently. Yes, indeed. Okay, fair enough. Seems as though he's been quiet for a few years, but he's going to be in the festival. Now, Clara was the one who had Diamanti Grezzi. Was that this year or last year? That was this year, but she finished 24th. She's 25 years of age. She's had a top 10 album earlier this year in Italy. Songs include Origami all'Alba, Boulevard, and Diamanti Grezzi. I assume she's coming back with a stronger effort. She also won the Sanremo Giovanni section in 2023. So this is the 3rd time in a row that she's had some association with this festival. So there we go. She's back. Then we have, there's another familiar name, Comakos, a hip-hop duo founded in 2017 from Milan, consisting of Fausto and California. They were in the 2021 Sanremo and again in 2023, and now they're back once again. Songs include Malavita, Fiamme negli occhi, and L'addio. I don't remember their previous Sanremo songs terribly well, though. But there we are. That's another returning name right there. Then we have Elodie. Oh, that's nice to see. That's nice to see. We know about Elodie, absolutely gorgeous woman. Elodie Di Patrizi, who is 34 from Rome. She has been in Sanremo 3 times previously. Tutta Colpa Mia was great. Andromeda was pretty good. Due wasn't too bad. She's won several awards, or nominated for several awards. She's also an actress, which I wasn't terribly familiar with. She's a model as well, which is not terribly surprising. 4 albums. Yeah, she's won loads of awards. She's been nominated for Best Italian Act at the MTV European Music Awards. She's won TIM Music Awards, and she was on Amici di Maria De Filippi, which is this long-running singing talent show in Italy. It's a really big deal. So yeah, fantastic that she's back. Hopefully she's going to have a cracking song. That's very exciting. Then we have Emis Killer. Born in 1989, real name is Emiliano Giambelli, 35, a rapper. Many albums. The most recent was last year. Nominated for an award or two. Not terribly familiar with who they are. What I will say is that rap is not really my genre. I don't really listen to a lot of it in my own time. So a lot of these rappers I'm not necessarily going to be too excited for. But who knows, maybe their songs will be really top quality. Next up we have Fedez. Federico Leonardo Lucia, covered in tattoos, 35, from Milan. They've separated. What a shame. Beautiful woman. Anyway, he has released many albums, the last 5 of which have gone to #1, multi-platinum, huge name. He's been in Sanremo a few times, including with Francesca Michelin a few years ago. Chiamami per nome is a cracking song. It was the runner-up behind Måneskin in that particular edition of the festival. #1 singles left, right and centre. La Dolce Vita, 6 times platinum. Disco Paradise with Annalisa, which I'm sure I've heard, 5 times platinum. What a big name to be involved. The votes may well pour in for him, especially if his song is top quality. Let's move on. I don't believe what I've just seen. Francesca Michelin herself is damn well back, and you love to see it. There she is, born in February 1995 in Vicenza, 29 years of age. Does she present the X Factor? I have a feeling she does in Italy. Anyway, she didn't win in 2016, but she ended up going to Eurovision anyway, finished mid-table in Stockholm. Then she had that song with Fedez, which was the runner-up a few years ago. She's released multiple albums, including one last year, nominated for many, many awards, and she's won a few as well. She's great. She's got a cracking song called Bolivia, which came out a few years ago. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That's a very exciting name right there. Top quality. Moving on. Oh boy, oh boy. This is going well. Gabani is back. The man, the myth, the legend, the charismatic figure himself. Occidentali's karma is here. Francesco Gabani. Oh my word. Oh, that's fantastic. Usually I am against artists trying again and again and again. I think this is his 3rd time, so it's not like Marcus Reva levels. And I am somewhat against artists going to Eurovision again if they've got nothing to prove. Hello, Mon Zelmerlöw. But in this instance, I'm really thrilled, it has to be said. He's 42 now, Francesco Gabani. He won Sanremo in 2017. He won the newcomers section the year before that with Amen, which is a cracking song. Then he was the runner-up with Vice Versa a few years ago. You better believe he's a contender again. No album in a few years. We know what a great performer he is. That is sublime. We love to see it. Next up is Gaia Gozzi. She was on Amici di Maria De Filippi and was the runner-up in the X Factor almost a decade ago. She's 27. She was in Sanremo 2021 with Cuore Amaro. Yeah. Okay. 2 albums, several gold singles. What Christmas Means to Me a few years ago reached #6 in Italy. Yeah. She's been a guest performer as well, including this year at Sanremo, which I forgot about. But there you go. Gaia Gozzi is in Sanremo 2025. This is looking good. We haven't come across the usual artist from 3 decades ago yet. Maybe that's coming up. Next up is Georgia. Oh boy. There is another whopping name. 53. She's won so many awards. 1995, 96, 2001, 2023, first, third, second, sixth. That's her Sanremo record. Highly impressive. She's been around for 30 years plus. Big, big name. Loads of albums, including last year. She's performed with Elton John. This is the thing, you know. I know Sanremo is not, strictly speaking, a national final, but other countries You don't get as many huge names involved. It's really impressive. That's a big one. That's a big one. Then we have Irama. Good Lord, there's another big name. Been involved several times now. He was on Amici di Maria de Filippi. You may as well just pay attention to that show, because anybody in it is probably going to be in Sanremo at some point. His 29th birthday is coming up. 2016, 2019, 2021, 2022, 2024. He's been involved in Sanremo loads of times, and he has released 4 albums, 2 of which have gone to #1, many platinum singles. Ovunque Sarai, that was a cracking song. Yes, there's a big name. Next up is Joan Thiele. Alessandra Joan Thiele. Don't know much about them whatsoever. Alternative R&B, Swiss Father, that's handy because Eurovision's in Switzerland next year. One album called Tango. He's released loads of singles and performed with many other musicians as well. Don't know much about them whatsoever. That's definitely, to me, a newcomer. Then we have the Colours. From Naples, and would you believe it, they won Amici di Maria de Filippi. That show is the real deal. They have won an MTV Italian Music Award. They've been at Sanremo 3 times. This will be their 3rd time. Apologies. Their song earlier this year was pretty good. Blanca was in the music video. They've released 3 albums, one of which went to #1, albeit nearly a decade ago. Italo Disco was one of the biggest songs in Italy last year, if not the biggest. They've also had songs including Los Angeles and Me Minus You. Yeah, very charismatic group, all-male group. They're back again. Moving on, we have Lucio Corsi. Okay. 31 years of age, slightly younger than me, 4 albums. Going to have to do my research. They're playing an acoustic guitar in this picture. Moving on, Marcella Bella. Holy moly. She tried for San Marino. Yeah, she tried for San Marino earlier this year. 72. She's been in Sanremo before. 3rd place in 1986, 87, 88, 1990, ran for the European Parliament for the hell of it. She was in the 1977 Sanremo and 1972 Sanremo. Wow. No album in over a decade. I do know who that is. Marcella Bella. There she is. Fantastic. Massimo Ranieri. Good God Almighty. Now the old folks are coming back. 73 years of age, been at Eurovision before, on 2 occasions. 1971, what was the song he had that year? L'amore è un attimo, vaguely remember it. And then we have 1973, what was the song he had that year? Chi sarà con te. Oh yeah. Anyway, he's been in Sanremo loads of times. Appeared on television in various different productions and events. 73. Very passionate, the way that he performs. Really feels the music. Wow, that's fantastic. Massimo Ranieri, hello. Next up is Moda. They've been involved before. Big band. Formed 2 decades ago in Milan. Been in Sanremo loads of times. Did they win it, or were they the runners-up? They might have been the runners-up one year. Anyway, several #1 albums, lots of platinum singles, La Notte, Se si potesse non morire, and so on. Loads of awards, MTV European Music Awards. That's another big name right there. And still we're not done. Bear with me. Noemi! Wow! My goodness me, hasn't she won Sanremo before? She was on the X Factor. Has she won Sanremo? She's been in it plenty of times. She's 42, from Rome. Here we go. She finished third in 2012. And she was 15th in 2022. I thought she had won it before. Clearly not. Anyway, loads of albums, loads of awards. It's the same old deal here. Veronica is actually her name. But there we go. Noemi, that's a big one involved as well. Ollie is back. Didn't he have Polvere? Yes, he did. That was in 2023. Yes, indeed. He is 23 from Genoa. Last album went to #1 in October, so very recently. Songs include Per due come noi, with Angelina Mango no less, and O voglia di te. So it seems as though his career is starting to really go places. He also moved to the UK. Where did he study? Bishop Stortford. What do you know? Anyway, yeah, Ollie is involved. How many more to go? Not many. Arcomi. Mirko Martorana is his actual name. He's 30, from Milan. Seems to be a hotbed of Italian music. Has been in Sanremo before. When was this? 2022. 4 albums. 3 have gone to #1. Multi-platinum. Another big name right there. Then we have Rocco Hunt. Rocco Pagliarulo. Born in 1994, was in Sanremo in 2016, 5 albums, 3 of which have gone to #1. It's unbelievable. Songs include Nu giorno buono, Ti volevo dedicare, and Fantastica. They're back. Bear with me, we must be near the end now. Rose Villain is back, lots of returning names. Rosa Luini, born in 1989, from Milan. 35 years of age. They were in Sanremo earlier this year with Click Boom. Very striking performer. Didn't love that song though, it has to be said. Other songs include Ho fatto un sogno, L'amate, and Elvis. So there you go. How many more? Sara Toscano. Yeah, 18. 1 Amici di Maria De Filippi. Yes, earlier this year. That name is familiar. I must have come across it recently. 2 albums, 2 EPs rather. Songs include Sexy Magica and Roulette. Okay, definitely seems to be the youngest one in next year's lineup. From Vigevano. And then we have... Oh, I've just seen another name coming up in a minute. This is strong. We have Serena Brancale, who is a multi-instrumentalist, born in 1989, jazz, funk and neo-soul, all over that like a rash. 3 albums, last one was in 2022, exciting times. And then we have Simone Cristici. Holy crap. Ti regalero una rosa, which won Sanremo nearly 20 years ago. The guy is now 47. He's got incredible hair. Loads of albums. Holy moly. I mean, he absolutely won Sanremo that year by a mile. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has something similar this time around. Woo! Next up. Oh, who the hell is this? Shablo, featuring Gue, Joshua, and Tormento. This must be a rap act. Shablo is an Argentine DJ. Don't know much about them. 3 albums. And then these other individuals. Cosimo Fini, better known by the stage name Due, 43, from Milan. Oh my goodness me. The last 6 albums by this guy have gone to #1. Multi-platinum. Holy moly. Can't say I'm familiar with them. Oh, Lamborghini. Might have heard that song back in 2017. Veleno. Cookies and Cream. Okay, that's a huge name then. And Tormento, that must be another rapper as well. And Joshua. Don't know much about these guys at all. Tormento, his real name is Massimiliano, born in the mid-1970s. Okay, okay. How many more? Dear me. Tony Effe, 33, from Rome. He's a rapper. 2 #1 albums and a top 10 album in Switzerland. Songs include Sesso e Samba, Taxi sulla Luna, and Chiara. And finally, Willy Peyote, real name Giulielmo Bruno, born in the mid-80s, was in Sanremo with Mai Dire Mai in 2021. Yeah, 39, from Turin, whole bunch of albums. Last one was 2 years ago. So, that's it. My word, this has turned out to be a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. That is, in my opinion, on name alone, a very strong lineup. Holy moly, that is pretty strong. I am very excited for Elodie, Francesca, Francesco. Georgia will definitely be up there, I'm sure. The Colours might have an absolute banger. Noemi might be up there. Rose Villain, I think, could do very well. I'm interested about Serena. Simone. Holy crap, that's a very interesting name to have back. Massimo Ranieri. Do you remember a few years ago when it was oh my god. Was it him? No, I don't think it was. It was Gianni Morandi. He came back, having been a big star in Italy for years and years and years, having done Eurovision previously. And he did really well, finished in the top 3. Any bets any bets Massimo Ranieri does the same next year? Who knows? Who knows? That, to me, Fedez as well. That, to me, is a very strong lineup. It really is. We will find out details about the songs moving forwards. Let me know your thoughts on this, especially if you're Italian. That's stuck in my head now. Yeah, very impressive. You know as well as I do, quality is coming. This isn't some half-assed selection that we're about to listen to. You know that these songs are going to be generally very strong. Absolutely no doubt in my mind about it. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. This has been a big ramble. Apologies if my pronunciation was a little bit rusty or completely inaccurate. I wouldn't be surprised. Let me know your thoughts on this, and there will be a post on the Instagram page very soon regarding artists to watch. Until next time, hopefully the quality wasn't too bad. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.